Hello and welcome to PM Express. I know we are not in studio, we're outside, but the issue are equally pertinent. What is it? Association of oil marketing companies are raising an alarm of a looming crisis, which if not taken care of, could become a ticking bomb. What are they talking about? They're talking about black fuel. What do they mean by black fuel? Well, there's a cartel that has found its way of sneaking into our shores, oil from somewhere which is not monitored, and they manage to offload this oil and bring it onto the shore and sell it. Now, one will say who's buying and who's selling it. They're also raising the alarm of how many jobs it could cost, because this is obviously a large association who employ many of us. Now, if there's going to be this fuel in the system and they are going to sell it cheaper than the ordinary guys will, then, well, those at the filling station we may have to lay off people and, God knows, add to our looming problems of unemployment. They are estimating about 4,000 people may lose their jobs. But that's not all. Fuel are just being put in yellow gallons and being dispensed by the roadside. When one catches fire, it's going to be a major disaster. But with everything else in this country, we sit and wait until they become an illegal fuel station association, and it becomes a whole saga as to stopping them, because they'll say, add the human face. So we want to bring the issue to bear now and ask them, here to talk to the CEO, find out exactly what the problem is and how it is that we can solve it, stop it, get revenue for the nation, and get Ghana going. My name is Nana Nsakwao, Chief of Akwamwe Dumasa, and your host. When I come back, I'm talking to the CEO of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies. Don't move. Thank you very much for staying. As I said, I'm here to speak to the CEO, the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, Kweku Agyeman-Duah. And it's an interview you don't want to miss, you don't want to move, you don't want to touch the remote, you just stay put. Thank you very much for allowing us into your space. Usually we'll be in the studio, but I think we are loving the green.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, I'm here because of this headline that, you know, there's illegal fuel, which I call black fuel, that's looming in the system. And it may cost 4,000 jobs, but I know that's not the only issue, but that's why we're here. But let's start from, you know, the layman finds it a bit strange that, you know, it's illegal fuel. I mean, there's a whole tanker load of fuel. It comes to the port, gets siphoned into a tank. So how does illegal fuel come in the system and where does it go?
Okay. Thank you, Nana. We have two different modes of the illegal fuel. Mm-hmm. One is the one that is supposed to be exported from this country to Burkina Faso, to Niger, to the landlord countries.
Okay.
And normally the taxes are removed from them.
Okay.
And they are destined, or they are bound to Burkina Faso and Niger. And they make around about 10. They remove, they don't send it to Burkina Faso, and they turn it around and they sell it in a market space. And that becomes considerably cheaper than what we sell. So that's one aspect of it. And that one...
Before you move on, is there no way of like putting in, you know, liquid A and making sure that liquid A leaves the port?
What happened was that we have customs who used to escort this product. I don't know whether they are still doing it. If they are doing, you know, it's a human kind of thing, and they get to Burkina Faso, they are border here, the Paga, that's the end of it. They find a way coming back through the bush. Oh yeah, and we have had cases where about 15 tankers were found in the bush. And you and me know that tankers in the bush, what are they doing over there? Tankers are supposed to be discharged at the fuel stations, but you find them there. You know, and they manage to get their way back, and they sell into the market through, sometimes they sell through some of the stations, and they sell through the lotto kiosks, tabletops, and the yellow gallons, and even to unsuspecting manufacturing companies. Because manufacturing companies normally will discharge through the tankers.
Yeah.
So they see a tanker and they say, well, and what they do is that you may ask the question, but is Burkina Faso registration number? They change the registration number to Ghana registration number. And so you see it, you think it's your normal tankers with a Ghana equivalent registration number, which is just going around, but it's more than that. So that's one aspect of it.
Okay.
And the reason why it's illegal is that they are supposed to be exporting to Burkina Faso, but they find themselves here. So, and they don't pay the taxes, they don't pay all the levies to go with it, and they sell it out in the market. So it's not custom.
But it's not transferred to like me that goes to the, because every pump you go, the fuel seems to be, you know, the same price.
Good.
So that black fuel is not transferred to the customer.
They do. There are some stations which have been doing that. You know what? How we got to know this? I'll come back to that one.
Okay.
And you know, then we have the one which comes from the ports. In fact, the ports are supposed to come from the approved ports like Tema, the Takoradi ports, which comes through those ports with all the security people lined up there. It comes through those ports. Then we have those ones which come through unapproved ports, like Denu, Aflao, those ends of the coastline. They just come in there through canoes, through boats, and they transform them into gallons, yellow gallons. So, and that's what it comes. So they do all this, so that makes it illegal. They are not coming through, they are not under custom, they just come like that. Versus what we normally do, which is custom. You have to have, the fuel have to come through the ports, and it pass through the jetty, a place where we all have the facility for the ports, for the oil. And it's connected to the pipeline so that you can just pump it to the various tanks at Tema. If it's Takoradi, the same way. Then once you get through it, that various tests will be done. Even the fact that when it's on the vessel, they take sample to check whether it's really the specification. Then it's pumped through the pipeline to the storage facility. Then at the storage facility, it's also tested again. Then customs know the quantity which has come in. Then as they leave the depots, they are doped, which we call marking. We mark them in such a way that you can identify that this one is coming from, it's in our territorial waters, and it's going to pay customs duties on them.
Like put a dye in it, or?
You put a dye. It's a neutral marker,
Okay.
which is we dope on it so that at least we have petrol and diesel, because we have some adulterants like premise and kerosene, which we put them in, so just to make sure that we can identify them. Now, it turns out to be that this marker that we put in initially was not for this, was actually for adulteration. And if you could recall, there were times we used to have adulteration a lot.
Yeah.
You buy fuel and you realize that you are buying something else. So we brought in this marker to stop the adulteration. And the adulterants were kerosene and premise. Okay. Kerosene adulterates diesel, premise adulterates petrol.
Okay.
So we put in this thing so that if you are caught, you can easily see that, look, you have more of kerosene in, you have more of premise in, you know. But as time goes on, we're getting about 32% of the fuel being adulterated.
That's high.
So with the advent of this, we went as low as 2%. Now we realize that we're not getting adulteration anymore. We are getting dilution. So you realize that the marker you put in a certain concentration, put in a certain quantity, you go to the fuel stations now, you are not seeing adulteration, you are seeing dilution. Meaning there's external fuel coming in to adulterate the fuel that you already have. And that gave us a signal. That's one of the signals we had.
And that external fuel hasn't got the marker.
Exactly, it hasn't got the marker. The external fuel, the illegal fuel has not got the marker. And as we speak, I understand they are trying hard to get a marker. Wow. So when they get a marker, then it means you can't have anything to show. So once they realize that we are, NPA is enforcing the marker concentration on this, Then they move away from the filling station. Then they went to the tabletops. And that's where they are selling it now. Because now they can be found out from the stations because of dilution. So they move away from that. And that's what is happening. It's good that we have the marker. It's giving us clues as to what is happening. But as to the level of the illegal fuel, it's what we use the volumes, the annual volumes that we have. But we have a difficulty here. Normally our volumes for a month-on-month basis, we get it about every other month. The reason being that it's because of reconciliation between the customs, the BDC, and the OMC who picked it. So once you have many OMCs, it takes you a longer time to reconcile. But if you do reconcile, those are the figures we use. And now what happened was that in 2015, between 2016, this industry is an industry which normally grow averagely about 3% a year. Even when our economy is not too good, because Ghanaians love cars, and they need to buy the cars. But what we realized was that last year, between 2016 and 2015, we lost 9% by volume for petrol.
Lost
9% by volume. Then we also lost 11% of diesel. The irony is there was no shortage. People were going, all right, doing their business. Nobody's complaining shortage.
So we're buying more diesel.
More diesel. Very good. So who is satisfying the customers? And that was it. Because we were anticipating to have grown 2016 by 3%. And here we are we have 9% and 11% respectively. Cumulatively, so we realize that we have an issue. And well, that translated to 850 million Ghana cedis in revenue to the states. Now, Nana, the interesting aspect is that...
Let me pause you and stress, because I mean, that's a huge volume.
It is, huge volume. This is an industry, even in somebody, we decided to have about 0.001% of the total volume of this country. You and me can live on it nicely. We can make fine trip to Dubai, enjoy ourselves very well. Even 0.001%. So you can imagine, it's whooping 9%, and you have 11% on the other side. So and a revenue of 850 million, if you divide by 12, we are talking about 70 million Ghana cedis, about 70 million Ghana cedis every month. So this is what are going to line people's pockets, just like that.
What I'm trying to find out is this amount, how can it sneak in and out or live comfortably for a period of time when alarm bells?
What happened was that, last year, we had an early warning sign. That was somewhere like March. March, April. And this industry, things come and they go away. Like I made a case with adulteration, it comes and go away. People sometimes used to mix, I remember those days, people used to mix dirty oil with diesel, and they sell it as diesel. And it has come to pass, So we thought that this was one of those things, they come and go. By September, figures which were coming, we realized that it looks like this one is getting rooted around here. So we need to do something. And that's what we wrote to MPA. We alerted MPA and said, look, we are doing this sales volume. And that was the subject of the letter I wrote to MPA, doing this sales volume in our station. And we knew that some OMCs who could make it were really going down as much as 14%. Some of them are 37%. And it's not one set. And you have 104 OMCs. So if you even take 10%, they are losing. It's big time. It's big time. Then MPA got it. And if we talk about taxes putting on the export and all that, they took our suggestion. They were about to implement the taxes. You need parliamentary approval, and it was getting to the election. So election time, and I guess what? When the election was done and dusted, immediately it went down. When it went down, we thought it was okay. Normally, January, we don't have high volumes. When people have spent all their money in December, the first 2 weeks of January, we don't record so much. We know January is a quiet month. It picks up like February, then March. So January, coincidentally, I mean, we didn't feel anything. But come February, we recorded 19% drop. So then, that's why we started saying, hey, something is wrong. So we elected MPA, our regulator. MPA boss, that's the new boss, started doing something, visit water regions, Denu area. He saw some things, then he went to the ports. He keep on briefing us and reassuring us that it will be fine. But we look at the magnitude of the thing. We say, look, if we don't do anything, we don't let the public know, let the government know, and we all be in together, we are going to lose more than 1 billion. And then you know NHS arrears is 1.2 billion.
So
Free senior high school is 1 billion.
So that's a significant
Exactly.
amount.
And now, if February was 19%, and I mentioned 9%, 11%, I'm sure this year we're going to hit about 40% if we continue like this. And that means government will be losing a lot of revenue. Not only that, the other side is that these people are making a lot of money. And this, if you have 1 billion or 1.2 billion going to a parallel industry, inverted commerce, and they are being dominated by only few people, they have so much money that they will need to protect the money they have. And that's where they go with guns. And they can buy our security, can buy anybody. And it's a seed for terrorist act. And we end up, wake up one morning, we won't have a country. The oil that we have in the Jubilee fields, they can parrot and just get them somewhere. Because they will become so powerful.
Is it too big for the Navy to handle? Or because, I mean, it must come in a big ship.
It is. I mean, it is. I mean, you see, we have various things that, that's why we're working with the government. We have to be alert. You know, I mean, these things have happened to certain countries and they couldn't survive.
If somebody is satisfying 19% of your fuel consumption, I mean, he's in serious business.
That's it. That's it. And you know, we know that the security officials and all those people, they know the people. You know, we know, yeah, they know the people, and we know because, and then we have warned our members that if anybody, just took one person. Somebody said it took Ofanochi to bring Ziggy Kofi to save the Asantes. It took Jesus Christ to come and save the Christians. It will take another one bad person to destroy the nation, the industry, and the nation. And we have told our members that, look, if you think you are part of it, it means you are sustaining the chain. Stop. You have even written to them. We are prepared. If there's evidence to the fact that some of our members are involved, we are prepared to speak them out. And we know there are politicians behind. We know there are people people see them here in Ghana. We are not talking about somebody who is not rich. They go around floundering our riches around. They are all part of it. We know there are security couples who are involved. At this point in time, we want the investigation people to do their work and prosecute them.
You know, has it gotten to like the Galamsey stage where it becomes a nightmare to stop it? Or it's at the looming stage where we can nip it in the back?
I like the second part of it. It's in the looming stage. It's something that's what we are pushing. If we don't, we are getting to June now, we are dead. If they make about 1.2 billion, there's no way we can stop it. There's no way. We may need external assistance. It's like going to war to be able to do that. Otherwise, we can't. Because they will become fully entrenched. Now, I can tell you something. They are so emboldened that they go to OMCs in their suits, telling them that, I've got fuel I want to sell to you. It's only when somebody who is an OMC who knows what it's about, and they will ask the question that, do you have OTC license? Do you have BDC license? Where's your office? And then they go, they never come back again.
Wow.
So it is so emboldened. So we need to be careful. We need to be careful.
Are we the only ones suffering that? Is Ivory Coast, Togo also suffering the same thing? I don't know if you have any relationship.
I would say something. I mean, so you see the advent of this, the incentive for them, what is motivating them to do that. In 2015, from July 2015 to December 2015, if you recall that our fuel price was low.
Yeah.
And we're having people coming from Ivory Coast to Domahinkro to buy our fuel. People come from Burkina Faso to Paga to buy our fuel. People from Togo to Sabzugu, Tatale and Saboba to buy a fuel. It tells something. Now, come 1st January 2016, taxes were loaded up. In fact, taxes were more than 40% of the price of fuel. So obviously, if you have somebody transiting through your country with a fuel to his landlord country, then you realize that he can turn around quicker by selling your country, which is loaded with taxes. Then he'll make a lot of money. Even if he sell half of that, he's going to make a lot of money than going to his country. And what we have also seen is that apparently Burkina Faso does not rely on us so much for the fuel. They take 98% of their fuel from Senegal. So it's only about 2% which pass through Ghana. But the figures we have show that it's more than 400% of the quantity they are supposed to have from Ghana.
Look at that.
So what it means is that one, where is it going? It's coming back to our country. And the unfortunate thing is that it's our own people, Ghanaians, who are aiding and abetting in this heinous crime. You know, and there are chiefs involved. There are so many people involved. And I tell you, it's a real security issue. It's a real threat to us. For our businesses, this month, if it continues like that, what's going to happen is that there's a potential 4,000 people who will lose their jobs.
Because you need to downsize.
They downsize. It has even started. For my brothers in the north, those stations in the north, our brothers, you know, there's no economic kind of activity in the north. So if it's going to be like this, and people are sleeping, obviously that's what is going to happen. I made a detour to Western region, Volta region, going to the north. Some places you get to the station, the guys were sleeping. There's nothing. They see a car pull up, it's a whole miracle. You know, so, and how can you contain this? How long? When you have to pay utility fees, when you have to pay back the bank loan you are put in this station, it becomes very difficult. So it's got a chain reaction. That's the direct jobs I mentioned, 4,000. There are indirect jobs. People who help pull up the station, people who rely on us for underground storage, tank cleaning. They are all part of it. So it's bigger than we really reckon.
Could, you know, I mean, these days you wake up and there's a filling station. Mm-hmm. You go to work, by the time you're coming back,
yes,
there's one opposite the one you woke up to see. If you're driving to Akusumo, you get to Akuse Junction. There's a left turning that brings you to Somenya. There's a massive Goil filling station called Akwaba. Somebody's putting up a double-sized Shell filling station. This Goil filling station, I mean, that's my road to Edumasa, so I use it all the time. It's always empty. I mean, the most I've seen there is a car or two. You know, most of the times it's empty. And there's somebody building an equally big Shell filling station. And I'm thinking, has he gone to ask this guy, you know, what the market trend is? Could this be the reason why maybe it's not that business is actually going down, but it's just maybe we are spreading ourselves too thin?
Yeah, what he's saying is very true. We know that what happens. You know, by nature of our job, I will say something before I come to that. You know, the Act, MPA Act, it says that if you want to put up a station, they satisfy all the conditions. MPA cannot say they can't give it to you. They have to grant it. MPA's thing is to set the conditions. And once they set the conditions and you are able to meet all, otherwise you take them to court.
I see. They don't have a perimeter like pharmacies will say that, look, within every catchment area, there's only so much pharmacies you can have.
Yeah, we're not having that. Up until the disaster which happened at Circle, that helped us to reconsider. So we had a lot of learning stuff from Rwanda, from some African countries. We didn't want to go outside. You know, outside they have their own issues. And we came up with something which is now showing distances. But the irony is, those people are already there. So it's difficult to go and get them out because they were approved by state institutions before prior to that. So it becomes very difficult. But to talk about what we do, the OMCs are like the typical Fulani headsman. We're looking for fodder for our cattle. So whenever there's fodder, we move. Ours is to distribute. We have 3,600 outlets in this country. It's huge. In fact, if you compare per capita, we have more than even South Africa. But South Africa petroleum industry is not well developed. Distribution outlet is not well developed like we have. They still have the foreign white domination thing. But we have a lot. And sometimes the concentration in certain places where it creates a problem, like you're talking about that area, even Kaswa as well. So we always be looking for areas where we could sell more. The name of the game is volume. And Nana, you'll be surprised. People think we are making a lot of money, but that's not it. But everybody wants to survive. It's kind of business somebody, it's like any other business. But in that case, even the margin is very small. Our margin is like about 5%. So assuming you sell fuel worth about 100 Ghana cedis, what the retail outlet gets, or the OMC gets, is only 5 cedis. And that 5 cedis is supposed to take care of its cost, operating costs, in addition to the margin that's supposed to go with. So you have to run on economies of scale. You have a station you have invested in. It's a station you have invested in, so you need to make sure that you maximize the output. So that's where the volume counts. So if your volume is not at threshold, it's not at break-even point, it's going below that, that means you are in for real trouble. So you cannot even meet your obligations when they fall due.
5 cedis per gallon?
5 cedis, no. So assuming you sell 100 cedis worth of fuel, you have only 5 cedis.
Okay.
Out of that. So it's about 5%. That's what you have. But if someone who sell tomatoes, they make 15%. In the drugs business, they make 15-20%. Some cases where the drugs is scarce, they get more like 50% on that. But you know, that's where we find us. So volume becomes the target. So people will be shooting for volume. So like what he's saying, we do traffic count, but people also look at in future what is going to happen. Because sometimes an area, I remember Sphinx Road, way back like 92, 93, 94, the space was sparse.
It goes down.
Exactly. I mean, all you could see is the total station which is there. The rest were not there. Later on, then the Akapet came on the line. The rest were you could see. But people were looking at, people come and stay. So when they do come with their cars, they will be fooling. And that's what people started to look at.
let me take a break here, and then when I come back also, I want to find out, with this black fuel, are there black customers who know certain black stations that, look, let me go to this station because I can fill up cheaper? Because trust me, everywhere I go, it's the same price that I pay, and I don't know of any black fuel being sold to me at black prices. So we need to find out what's happening. Don't move. Thank you very much for staying. We're talking to Kweku Ajimanduya, who's Chief Executive Officer of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies. And when I say oil marketing companies, that's literally the petrol stations that as you drive, you see along, you know, Glory Oil, Uni Oil, Goil, Shell, you know, all that, you know, and you know, he's their boss, basically. Kweku, are there some people who know, you know, certain places, look, I go and fill up here and I won't pay the 15 cedis a gallon, but maybe they'll sell it to me at 10 cedis a gallon? Or...
You know, we have deregulated the environment, you know, so space. So we are not expecting all OMCs to have the same price. People are eating to their margins to be able to satisfy customers. So when people are price sensitive, they will go to those areas. But the other side is that I think the public should not look at only price alone. Because you remember, if you put dirty fuel, bad fuel in your car, definitely it's going to be a real nightmare. Yeah. So some OMCs also emphasize on quality, but they still have a higher price. And there's some who have got moderately price and also good quality. So there are people who know where to buy. Like we're saying, there are people who are patronizing the black market. There are really people who are patronizing, and that's what is sustaining them. Either they don't know. For instance, if somebody see a tanker discharging fuel somewhere, we think that there's an outlet there which they are discharging. But in reality, we have had cases where this is happening now, where people are discharging in the bush. And people go in there to buy cheap fuel. People go with their motors to buy cheap fuel from that place. And I had opportunity of looking at it myself. I had to disguise myself, Nana, in the north. I had to went to the bush. That was about 11 p.m. Can you imagine? I was sitting on the back and I had to behave some way like I was crazy with a rasta head and doing some way. And then with some rickety dress, I was sitting on a motorbike. And what I saw, I said I couldn't have a camera to do anything because they see you filming, you are in trouble. And people were patronizing. They said that I made one guy say that, oh, what you are doing is not good. And one chief said that, what should the children do? They need to work. And that's work for them. Illegitimate work. So, I mean, there are people who are patronizing, to answer your question, who know, they know very definitely that this one is black market and they're patronizing. There are people who don't know anyway. For instance, there are some dealers somewhere, we call it third party, where you are my dealer, I'm the OMC, so you have your station along your hometown road, and that's your station. So I'm by design, I'm supposed to supply you fuel. You don't have to take fuel from anybody. If for any reason I can't supply you and I have to somebody else supply you, I'll let you know. And even now I need approval from MPA. Otherwise, anybody who supplies you is a third party.
Okay.
So you will see a nice station and the dealer will be having a relationship with some other third party. And so you see your fuel, your branding, and say, oh, this is my brand. This is where I buy my fuel. Unknowingly, because of the behavior of the dealer, you may be buying something else.
Wow.
But you know the fuel is said that you don't see it. In fact, from the, even when you go to the depot, the refinery want to see the fuel, it takes a lot of effort because safety issues, inhalation and all that. So we look at them, you will never see them. All you find out is in your car. I remember there was a time when, Nana, you laugh at this one. When I was at a certain station, then I was called that there's a adulterated fuel in another station. No, I was buying fuel. And I said, hey, so probably I'm also buying adulterated fuel because I cannot see what is going on. So at that time, the MPA boss called me and said, where are you? I said, why? Why do you want to know where I am? Then he said, oh, there's an adulteration case at some place and I want you to come over there. I said, in the filling station. Unfortunately, the filling station that he mentioned was the same filling station, the same different brands I was buying. So then I said, yeah, Alex, okay. So in fact, I was buying a lot. So I said, you stop. I have an emergency. And I said, my car. And I was reflecting. I said, no, you see this kind of thing, you may think it's somebody else, but it's right in front of you. So it's something that unsuspecting people have, and some people know. Some, I tell you, they sell it to Galamsey sites, they want cheaper fuel, and they know them, they buy.
And they'll buy bulk too.
Bulk too. They give good money, cash. Galamsey people, they don't go on credit. But I must say it was a good business for us. But they were doing illegal thing anyway. But it's something that happens. So we need to, somehow we need to cut the supply. This morning I heard that MPA is on the people on the tabletops. Once we cut those ones.
I was going to say that, you know, I was asking a question about black market and black people who sells it. But after the tabletop, I've seen it.
Yes.
You know, in water bottles and gallons. You know,
exactly, the water bottle.
Yeah, bottle. Yeah.
I see them like that.
But that's not hidden. That's in the open.
Yes, they show.
But that's not allowed.
It's not allowed. It's not allowed. In the regulation, there are certain quantities you can keep. Like you have 1 liter, 300 milliliters of petrol you can keep. But this time you see them in the yellow, in a gallon and stuff. And they sell to you. You see the price. You go there, you can say this price. Oh, they'll just do it for you. And they have a funnel and they just pour into your car for you. And it's thriving. Unfortunately, formerly it was in the north coming. Now even Ashanti Reggie Kumasi precisely.
No, it's
you find them. You find them around.
Yeah,
Exactly, Tema. I'm happy.
Yeah,
even he had a soup this morning.
Okay.
And the irony is, those ones, some people have been caught before, but the courts, they go there. It's a patrism that they do. It's about 200 Ghana cities.
It's worth keeping business
exactly.
going.
And now, all we need to do is make sure that, you know, the there should be subsidiary legislation to go with the act, the regulations. That had not been done yet. There are a lot. We are in the process of working with MPA to do that, but that takes a long time. The question is, how can MPA fill in the void to be able to just clamp down on these people? And it takes the security.
See, let me go back to 3,600, filling stations
Yes.
up and down the country.
Yeah.
I mean, could some of them be owned by these black market people to?
It's possible.
Because it's just...
Nana, it's possible because people do all kinds of things. If you look at it, I'll tell you, this station that we put up, we don't need to spend so much money. You don't need to make it flamboyant that it looked. It's basically having an underground storage tank, which is safety proven, then having your dispensers in there, then your canopy. Canopy is, we don't want to avoid, you see, when the rains pour on the dispensers, they get rusty and water was seeping, so we want to make sure that we protect the place. Of course, we may have a convenience shop, but sometimes you see them, they are out of size. So then, like you said, and those are the ones we have to gradually smoke them out. The industry has become so large now. I can tell you, way back 2009, it was like 30 OMCs. Now we have almost 114 OMCs, and still counting. The good thing that has been done is that based on the suggestions that we gave, we saw that people were going for export licensing, because anybody wants to do export licenses. So that had been banned. Now it's suspending all export licenses. Then the taxes on it that we have to levy on it. And that's what we're having a chat with the vice president. And he promised that he will do the legal aspect, get the parliament as soon as they come for recess. They push it in. But the question I ask is that in between now and that time, what do we do?
See, I know competition is good, avoid monopoly.
Yeah.
But is there not some ratio within how you calculate that? Listen, for every 100,000 cars, we must have maybe 2 stations or 10 stations, and for every 200,000 cars, maybe 1 OMC, so that you can supply mines and this and that. So have a calculation so that as the industry grows, there's room for more to come, or is open till that.
It's open. Come. It's open now. Once you satisfy the conditions set by MPA, you have it. But what he's saying makes sense. I mean, you need to do a little bit of work. Look at the economic data, our data for number of cars, looking at this. Then if MPA can do that work like that, it helps. So that you look at the rate at which the economy is growing versus the number of stations, so that you don't need to. We have a lot of data on average number of stations. Formerly, we used to have about 150,000 liters per station per month. Now, averagely, it's like about 30,000.
Whoa.
So you can imagine. I mean, so we have data we can utilize, and it's something we would like to get done. Who put the pressure? You see, the issue has been that MPA is the one who's supposed to set the standards. So if you decide to set the standard per economic data, that's fine. But, Nana, we have to talk about this as well. The MPA chief executive is appointed by a political authority. And I've always not been happy with Section 4 of the MPA Act, which says that the MPA, the independence of MPA is independent, but it's subject to the policy directive of the minister. Yeah, it means it's not independent.
Takes you off.
So you see, and the minister we are mentioning about, it also reports to the president. So it means it's subject to the policy directive of the president.
Politicians who follow the vote.
Exactly. So you could see, even if you have the MPA and he wants to do the right thing, there are a whole lot of political interference. We have come to power and you say what? You won't give my man a license. You remember he's our party something. He helped us. You know who bankroll us for us to come to power? It becomes very difficult. Yeah. So day in, day out, government change, all those people change, they come out. Everybody wants to have an influence in the industry. Either they buy trucks or you see, that's what we need to look at it. So somebody is a politician, he comes right now and then he's a businessman and he looks for stations. We have had cases where MPs blatantly didn't go to all through the permits and they expect MPA to certify them. We had to bring them to our discipline committee and we said, look, you cannot do that. And they started making calls left and right.
Pressure from above.
Exactly. That's the country we have. And that's
the
the reality. So it makes it difficult for the regulator, who's supposed to be independent, through the act. It's not actually no independence.
Let's look at quality of fuel. Now, I was in the UK and I was buying fuel from Tesco's. And I was buying diesel. And it's light green. It's almost like Sprite. You know, I come here and I look at diesel and it's literal heavy oil. I mean, it's diesel. I mean, I was born with this diesel. You know, it's big, thick oil.
Yeah.
I look at the disparity. So even when I was putting the car, I was thinking maybe it might not last long before this thing finishes. It's too light.
Yeah.
What's happening here?
Well, basically, I think it's something we're trying to correct now. Is the sulfur content that we have in the diesel. You know, they are using 10 mm and below. We have content which is higher. We have worked out that from 1st July we want to go to the lower levels. It has taken us so long because initially it was matching up with the price, but now it's like what everybody's using. So it's even difficult getting what we are using now.
Okay.
But the only thing is that our refineries are not able to produce that quality we are talking about. It calls for a lot of investment. They call it, you need desulfurization plant, which is a lot of money. So we're going to have 2 specs at that time. If a refinery wants to produce the old one, they can export it. Then we will do the other one, which will help us, our environment, you know, will be safe. Then
it's really damages engines.
Oh yes, because the modern cars cannot really withstand that. And there are modern cars who are using aviation fuel. One used for aircraft.
This is just to be safe and stuff.
Some people are using that. I remember we're looking at the figures for aviation and realized that the planes are taking this much and some others. So we had to call the office to question. Apparently, some people have signed up and they are buying those fuel for their cars. So it tells you the kind of cars coming to the country right now, which we have to match it up with the quality that it deserves.
What would be the difference between an aviation fuel and the regular fuel? Just
the aviation fuel is we call it a downgrade of kerosene. It's kerosene.
Okay.
Aviation fuel is kerosene, but it's downgraded in such a way that it's become lighter than kerosene. Aviation you need light fuel, and the kerosene is lighter. But we downgrade it in such a way that it becomes lighter. It makes it easier. It's very, it looks like a mist when it comes out.
I see.
It's a very fine stuff.
So people will actually buy it like in tanks and go and store at home? And
no, they go to the station, they go to the airport to buy.
Oh, I see.
And they fuel for them.
I hope you're not giving people ideas. Is it legal though?
Oh, it's legal. I mean, he wants to buy it. The only thing, what he has to do, he cannot put in a tank. We won't allow that. Okay. He can put it in his car. It goes into the fuel straight, just like we all buy fuel. Yes.
Is it cheaper, expensive?
For now, it's expensive.
Is it?
Well, it's expensive.
Formerly we used to fuel.
Formerly we used to make kerosene so cheap, and aviation we import everything, and we used to make kerosene so cheap, but people were using kerosene to adulterate the diesel, so we increased the price of kerosene. So we want to make sure that it doesn't go. Anytime you do something, somebody will do something else. So
I don't know if it's a fair question. Is it our attitude or it's worldwide?
No. It's our attitude, but we are not sanctioning people. That's what it is. So we become rooted. We look unconcerned. We cry, leave it, and we want me to go and say it, and I become a third person. So it continues that cycle. So somebody might be a good guy, he watches. I'll tell you something, we're all doing it. I mean, those days when I had my first car, the Moyo refinery out there, they were selling fuel. The tankers were siphoning, and I got to understand later that they discharge the fuel, they leave something small. And when they get to the place, before they enter, they try to empty them. They will be about 1 gallon, 2 gallons, 3 gallons. So you pass, they get it cheaper. We're all going there to buy some. And it's only when I grew up that I realized that it was illegal.
Because it was so normal.
So normal, because they were not catching anybody. The yard of the people allow them to do things. They look unconcerned. You see them, you pay. They share the money there and then. So you don't see anything wrong. And that continues. That cycle continues. So people who do those things always are looking for money elsewhere. It continues. But if we can stop, sanction people severely, that apart from everything else, it's a security issue. Aye. In Philippines, you see how the country is? It's archipelago full of mountains, islands, full of islands. And they are got access offshore. The government is patrolling their ports. Now they catch you with illegal fuel like this, you're as good as dead. So they will set an example for you to see what will happen to you.
So it's not worth it.
Exactly. If an OMC and you are involved and they catch you, even the fact that you are taking the product and you are not getting the quality, then you know what happens? It's percentage of your turnover. That's what you pay as fine. In default, you go in. Can you imagine? You take percentage of your turnover, that's what you pay to the nation. So if we are doing that, then they will have a disciplined society. And some of them continues to fet, and the oil is dangerous. So
see, because of the monies involved, I think that this is a very peculiar problem. You're saying, because I mean, if 1.2 billion, I mean, thinking the whole nation was trying to even borrow 3 billion, we couldn't get it. So if a cartel has got that amount of money for this economy, it's not. We have to nip it in the bud.
We really have to do that, Nana. We are not going anywhere. There are 3 sectors in this country we get a lot of revenue from the mining sector, from the telcos, and from this oil. And you know how our mining sector is going. The telcos are dominated by foreigners, you know what it is. Now this one is where we are all in. Now if this one is gone, we are finished. We are finished. And Nana, what I fear most is that in this our industry, they have some people who have got certain character. That they look at something somebody's doing, nobody's saying anything, they all join. And if we don't do anything, even the little that we are getting, we will not even get it. Yeah, the fuel people will be satisfied, they'll be getting fuel for their cars, but no taxes will be paid.
And we need taxes.
And we need the taxes. So
particularly in this era with all these promises.
Exactly, this era with the promises. We need to make sure that otherwise we have a lot of children out there, more than 450,000 people out there, they don't have jobs, graduates. We need to make sure that we have an economy which is strong enough to be able to...
But you're confident it can be stopped?
It can be. It's only the political will and the commitment. Because the government has got everything, the tools, the instruments, the authority, the mandate that he can do anything. We have our president with the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. This is war. If somebody is invading your country with this, you can stop it. You can even call for external help. And that's what we can do. If we stop, they'll finish us. They'll finish us. And that's what we talked about early days. It's early days yet for the new government. But we believe if they want to do something, they can do it.
19%.
90% February. They can do it. And we believe they can do it.
Sure, we were driving. No, you see, doom salt is also reduced. So maybe we're not buying that much diesel than we used to buy.
That one, Nana,
have
it's
you
not that
factored
much.
all that in?
We did. We have done all that.
Because that's a fifth.
We have done all that. Look, even when we were getting that year, we were doing a lot of doom salt, and even after that, when it was big, heavy like last year, we factored all in. That's why we said about 3% increase. This industry has never failed the nation in terms of revenue. Even when the economy is really, really bad, you still see a surge on that one. Because the year I had Doomsaw, we grew up about 7%. 7%. So you can imagine. We factored all those things in. And now people are using solar panels, But it's not such that has to make this one. We know, like give the example of Burkina Faso, the volume. Only 2% they take from here. But the volumes which are purported to living here for Burkina Faso is about 400% of that volume. So where are they going? This is records, data.
Wow. This is something to be nipped in the bud.
Exactly, we have to.
Have you seen any signs of movement, urgency anywhere to see?
Well, the sign of agency comes from the Minister for National Security. I mean, we had a very good chat, and it's only today I didn't see him. I made some call up, but I think he's tied down. And we also met the Vice President on Friday at 3 p.m. And he also was in there, and he showed his commitment.
Could the clamp down on Galamsey, have you factored that? Because this champagne machines.
Oh, that one we had. I mean, that was last year. This year is when we are clamping down on the Galamsey so much. So last year we knew they were there. And it's more of
I just think it's a large volume.
It is large volume, and we have to. And even that one is one way. So now we started money. We have had a lot of information. The guys are going under small. Even when they had a press statement on Thursday, had the information that they went down. They were circulating information and said, look, now look like the security people are up, so they have to go down a bit. And that's what it is. If we don't do anything, that's why we have to go in and finish them off. So we are looking forward to the government prosecuting some people.
Well, let's hope this doesn't trigger, because we've seen the Niger Delta, and
exactly.
one of those things that when it starts, it never stops.
Exactly. That's how
the stakes become just too high.
Too high.
Well, thank you very much for allowing us into your space to get this education. Mr. Kwaku Ajimandia, CEO of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies. We were here in his office to talk about this issue, and I hope that we won't come here 10 years down the line calling for a state of emergency and that would nip this in the bud. That's one thing, that's one spirit that we seem to be losing in this country, nipping things in the bud before it blows out of proportion. But the stakes are too high here, the monies involved are too high, and it will be worse than Galamsey. So I hope that those who hear can hear, and those who matter would be up and doing. Thank you very much.
Yeah. As always. Thank you also.
And I always give you this number, 024-366-2001. 024-366-2001. Tantis Fashions, they make my shirts for the show, and they always make me my shirts. So, give them a call. They do both male and female, and get yourself a nice shirt. Tomorrow we'll be back to do this all over again. Thank you very much for watching.